Imagine sipping a cup of tea made from herbs grown in your own backyard. Picture this, a delightful brew, steeped with the fresh flavors of mint, chamomile, lavender, or lemongrass, all cultivated by your own hand. Welcome to the concept of an herbal tea garden, your very own sanctuary of health and relaxation. Herbal teas are not just a delicious alternative to traditional teas, but they also carry a host of health benefits. They can soothe a troubled mind, aid digestion, boost immunity, or simply provide a moment of serene relaxation. And the beauty of it all? The variety of flavors is only limited by your imagination and taste. From the zingy freshness of mint, to the calming notes of chamomile, from the fragrant allure of lavender to the citrusy punch of lemongrass, your backyard can be a treasure trove of delightful tea ingredients. Embarking on this journey not only leads to delightful teas, but also adds a charming feature to your garden. A successful garden requires thoughtful planning. Now that we've introduced the concept of an herbal tea garden, it's time to dive into the planning stage. The first and perhaps the most crucial aspect of planning is finding the perfect location. Remember, herbs are sun-loving plants, so a spot that receives at least 6 hours of sunlight a day is ideal. Consider the areas of your yard that get the most sunlight, but don't fret if your space is more shaded. Many herbs, like mint and chamomile, can tolerate less light. It's all about understanding the needs of the plants you're growing and adjusting accordingly. Now let's talk about garden layout options. Not everyone has a spacious backyard, but don't let that deter you. There are plenty of ways to grow an herbal tea garden in a limited space. First, we have the container garden. This is a great option if you have a small patio or balcony. You can use pots, window boxes, or even repurposed items like old watering cans to plant your herbs. The best part about container gardening is that it gives you the flexibility to move your plants around to catch the sunlight or protect them from harsh weather. Next, we have the vertical garden. This is an innovative approach that makes use of upright spaces. You can grow your herbs on trellises, vertical planters, or even on a wall with pockets. It's a fun and aesthetic way to grow your herbs, especially if ground space is scarce. Lastly, for those blessed with a large backyard, the traditional bed garden is the way to go. You can dedicate a section of your yard to your herbal tea garden. This allows for ample space for your herbs to grow and spread. Before we wrap up, remember that planning also involves thinking about the future. As your herbs grow, they will need more space, so always leave room for expansion. With the right plan in place, your garden will flourish. So take the time to consider your space, the amount of sunlight it receives, and the type of garden layout that best suits your needs. With these factors in mind, you're all set to start your herbal tea garden journey. Choosing the right herbs is like choosing the right tea flavors. Now that we're ready to select our plants, let's focus on 5 of the best herbs for a starter tea garden: mint, chamomile, lemongrass, lavender, and lemon balm. First up, mint. It's a hardy perennial that thrives in moist, shaded areas. It's also a fast spreader, so consider planting it in a pot to keep it in check. Mint brings a fresh, invigorating flavor to your tea, perfect for waking up your senses in the morning. Next, we have chamomile. These daisy-like flowers love full sun and well-drained soil. Chamomile tea has a sweet, apple-like flavor and calming properties that make it a perfect evening brew. Lemongrass is next. This tropical plant loves sun and moist soil. Its tangy, citrusy flavor adds a refreshing zing to your cup. Plus, lemongrass tea is known for its digestive benefits. Let's move on to lavender. This pretty plant prefers full sun and well-draining soil. Its floral, slightly sweet flavor is a delightful addition to your tea repertoire. Besides, who wouldn't want their tea garden to be filled with the relaxing aroma of lavender? Last but not least, lemon balm. This hardy perennial enjoys full sun or partial shade. It has a lovely lemony flavor, and its calming properties make it a great addition to your evening tea routine. Each of these herbs has unique care needs, but all of them share a couple of commonalities. They all love plenty of sunlight, and they all need well-draining soil. Regular watering is crucial, but be careful not to overwater, as this can lead to root rot. Remember, the better care you give your plants, the more rewarding your harvest will be. So, go ahead and choose your favorites from these herbs, or pick them all. After all, variety is the spice of life. These herbs will provide a delightful range of flavors for your homemade teas. With your selection made, you're one step closer to sipping that perfect cup of homegrown herbal tea. Now we get our hands dirty. Every herb has its unique needs, but there are some general steps that apply to planting most herbs. Start by choosing a sunny spot for your garden. Most herbs love the sun and need at least 6 hours of it each day. If you're planting in containers, make sure they have drainage holes. Overwatering can be just as harmful as underwatering. Once you've chosen your spot, prepare the soil. A good rule of thumb is that herbs prefer well-drained soil. If you're working with heavy clay or sandy soil, consider improving it by adding organic matter like compost or well-rotted manure. This will improve the soil structure and provide nutrients for your herbs. Next, it's time to plant. Dig a hole that's wide and deep enough for the root ball of your herb. Place the plant in the hole, making sure the top of the root ball is level with the soil surface. Then, fill in around the plant with soil, pressing it down firmly but gently. Now, onto watering. While herbs don't like to sit in water, they do need a consistent supply, especially in the first few weeks after planting. Water your herbs slowly and deeply, ensuring that the water reaches the roots. Once established, most herbs are quite drought tolerant, but they'll still appreciate regular watering in hot, dry weather. And let's not forget about pests. Some herbs like mint and lemon balm are pretty resistant to pests. Others, like chamomile and lavender, can sometimes attract aphids or whiteflies. If you notice any pests on your herbs, try a gentle solution first, like spraying the plant with a mix of water and mild dish soap. If the problem persists, you may need to consider a natural pesticide. As for fertilizing, herbs generally don't need much. In fact, some herbs like lavender and oregano prefer poor soil and may not flower as well if over-fertilized. However, if you're growing herbs in containers, or if your soil is very poor, a slow-release organic fertilizer can be beneficial. Now here's a pro tip. Herbs love a good haircut. Regular pruning not only keeps your herbs looking tidy, it also encourages bushier growth. So don't be shy about snipping off a few sprigs for your tea. Your herbs will thank you for it. And finally, don't forget about winter care. In colder climates, perennial herbs like mint and lavender may need some protection from winter chill. Consider mulching around the base of the plants or covering them with a garden cloth. So, there you have it. The basics of planting and caring for your herbal tea garden. It may seem like a lot to remember, but don't worry. With a little practice, you'll soon get the hang of it. And the reward? A garden full of fragrant, flavorful herbs, just waiting to be brewed into a soothing cup of tea. With proper care, your herbs will thrive, ready to be transformed into soothing teas. The reward for your hard work is a bountiful harvest. Now let's delve into the art of harvesting. When it comes to picking your herbs, timing is key. The best time to harvest is in the morning, after the dew has dried but before the sun gets too hot. This is when the plant's essential oils are at their peak, which means your tea will be full of flavor. To maximize yield, snip off the tops of the plants, leaving about 2/3 of the plant intact. This encourages new growth and ensures you'll have a continuous supply of fresh herbs. Remember, the more you harvest, the more they grow. Now we move on to the magic of tea making. It's simpler than you might think. For a single herb tea, simply steep a handful of fresh leaves in boiling water for around 5 to 10 minutes. The longer you steep, the stronger the flavor. For a blend, experiment with combining different herbs. Try a calming mix of chamomile and lavender, or a refreshing blend of mint and lemongrass. The possibilities are endless. Just remember to balance strong flavors with milder ones. And there you have it. You've nurtured your plants from seed to harvest, and now you can sit back and savor the fruits of your labor. Now you're ready to enjoy a cup of tea fresh from your garden. Maintaining a garden is a learning process. As seasons change, so do the needs of your herbs. In spring and summer, regular pruning promotes growth and keeps plants healthy. As autumn approaches, consider mulching to protect the roots from winter frost. If you live in a colder region, think about moving your potted herbs indoors. Regularly check for pests and use natural deterrents when possible. These tips will ensure your herbal tea garden thrives in all seasons. Growing an herbal tea garden is a rewarding experience. It's not just about the joy of nurturing life from a seedling to a full-grown plant, but it's also about the satisfaction of cultivating your own personal oasis of wellness, right in your backyard. Let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've embarked on together in creating your own herbal tea garden. We started by exploring the world of herbal teas, a universe teeming with flavors, fragrances, and the promise of health and tranquility. From the invigorating freshness of mint to the soothing calmness of chamomile, and the exotic allure of lemongrass, we discovered the myriad possibilities that your own garden can offer. Next, we delved into the planning stage. Remember how we emphasized the importance of a sunny location for your herbal tea garden? Whether it's a corner of your backyard or a sunny windowsill, the right location is the first step towards a thriving garden. We also explored various garden layouts, from container gardens perfect for urban dwellers to vertical gardens that are a great solution for space constraints. And of course, traditional bed gardens that allow your herbs to spread and flourish. Choosing the right herbs for your garden was our next step. We discussed the top herbs for a beginner's tea garden: mint, chamomile, lemongrass, lavender, and lemon balm. Each with its own unique care needs and flavor profiles, these herbs are not only easy to grow but also offer a variety of flavors for your teas. The heart of our journey was the planting and care segment. We delved into the step-by-step process of planting each type of herb, from preparing the soil, to sowing the seeds or transplanting the seedlings, and finally, to caring for the growing plants. We also discussed the importance of regular watering, keeping an eye out for pests, and ensuring the soil remains fertile and well-drained. Harvesting and using your herbs was our next focus. We learned how to carefully cut the herbs to maximize yield and preserve essential oils. We also discovered some quick and easy recipes for creating individual and blended herbal teas, allowing you to enjoy the fruits of your labor in the most delightful way. And let's not forget the additional tips and tricks we shared. From seasonal care and pruning to preparing your garden for winter, we covered it all. These little nuggets of wisdom are sure to help you maintain a lush and productive garden year-round. In conclusion, having your own herbal tea garden is not just about growing plants. It's about creating a sanctuary, a space that brings you joy, peace, and well-being. It's about the pleasure of sipping a cup of tea made from herbs you've grown yourself, knowing that you've nurtured them from seed to cup. It's about the sense of accomplishment that comes from creating something beautiful and beneficial with your own two hands. So, as we end our journey today, we hope that you're feeling inspired and equipped to start your own herbal tea garden. Remember, every garden starts with a single seed and every gardener was once a beginner. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and make some mistakes along the way. After all, gardening is as much about the process as it is about the end result. We invite you to share your own experiences or questions in the comments below. Happy gardening and happy sipping!